Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Now let's have some fun. Here is your host, Johnny Radio.
Yo. Welcome into a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I am your buddy, Johnny Radio. Jay Morgan Harder's in the house. We got a busy show. It was a busy weekend. I hope everybody, I just hope some people had the kind of weekend I had. I had a fabulous weekend. Had Kentucky plus 6 on the point spread, 6.5. Had Kentucky plus 6.5. But, of course, my daughter cheers at Ole Miss, so I was rooting for Ole Miss to win. That last turnover, my daughter's happy. I'm happy. Oxford was bumping. We partied all weekend long, all weekend strong. Then I came back. Jay, guess what I did last night?
Panic
at Memphis Fest. So it's been a great weekend. Football in the National Football League is, it's an all right weekend. Patrick Mahomes played really good, made some seriously crazy plays. But, Jake Crane. He starts off every single Monday. He's the best in the business. He's already done a whole lot of work today. He's already dropped his show. I have to be honest with Jake, though. I like to get up in the mornings and listen to him on Monday. I got up, Jay, about 30 minutes ago. Panic will do that to you. I'm just glad I made it to work. But follow Jake at Jake Crane _. Check out his show. It's Crane and Company. You can go on the Twitter at Crane and Company. And also don't forget dailywire.com. Bring on my buddy Jake. What's up this Monday?
Johnny, what is up? Yeah, man, Panic has a way of pushing the old snooze button a couple times.
Oh, it did, man. My alarm went off at 8, and then I just turned that sucker off, and luckily I got up about 10:15. I was like, oh, I got to get to work. But
yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, that's the difference between a wake-up alarm and a fire alarm. You can turn one off without freaking out.
By the way, talking about freaking out, how freaked out were you with the fact that Georgia, I'm not joking with you. So after, the Ole Miss Kentucky game, watch a little Alabama and Arkansas from the Grove. Then we go home and I just, want to see what Georgia and Missouri are doing. And I turn on the TV in the second half and Georgia's losing the game to Missouri. I don't understand how that happened. Did Georgia just come out flat or is it just like everybody says, it's hard to win on the road in the SEC?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to win on the road in the SEC, and I know Georgia's kind of, catching a little bit of shade this week. They got bumped down to number 2 in the AP poll, and they didn't play great, but they won the game. Look, Missouri, that was Missouri's Super Bowl. You're coming off a game where you absolutely blew it against Auburn. So you knew that they would, if they did get off the mat, they'd get off the mat with a vengeance because you're trying to prove everybody that you're not a joke, or you were the running joke the whole week, and embarrassment's a hell of a motivator. But what I say to people that kind of freak out about Georgia is, going through a college football season and having to go through a 12-game regular season, it's kind of like it's very difficult, and there's going to be good and bad. It's kind of like when you see those people that have been married for 50 years, and you're like, wow, how did this happen? It's amazing, and you ask them, have you ever had any rough patches? And they're like, well, yeah, we had a rough patch in year 27 when, Ron fell in love with one of his coworkers from the pickle factory, and we, had to get through that, or, I lost my job or whatever, or, the Great Depression happened or something. There's always going to be rough patches in it. But it's how you get through the rough patches that ultimately decide how it comes out in the end. And in this case, in college football, you won the game. Alabama doesn't play very well at Texas, but they won the game. It's hard to get guys up every single week to play at the level that Georgia was for at least, the weeks against South Carolina and Oregon leading off the season. Samford, they just kind of walked through that one. But no, Georgia's still undefeated. To me right now, the bigger question is, will Alabama or Georgia or both be undefeated going into the SEC championship game?
Man, the SEC's got like you said, it's hard to get up every single week, and and I'm saying that even for Texas A&M. I know they got a big dub last week, but my goodness, when they went to Starkville, they got bully whipped. Rogers, Thomas, just throwing passes all over that Texas A&M defense. I mean, I don't know how good Mississippi State is, but I need to know something. Is Texas A&M, is it Jimbo Fisher? They got all the 5 stars. They got all the money. They got a beautiful field. They got the support of their fans. How come they just can't get it done?
Yeah, well, the recruiting class from last year, it's going to take a little bit for those freshmen are all ready to contribute, but they've recruited pretty well over the 5-year span with Jimbo. And a lot of people jump and point out the offense first, which makes sense. Typically, that's the way it works in general, but Jimbo's also an offensive coach that calls the plays. But A&M's biggest problem is they're not playing complimentary football. I put out a video on Saturday and name one game, even against Miami. They didn't give up a ton of points, but Miami's play calling in the red zone was absolutely horrific. They're running inside zone on 3rd and 7. But name one game or name 2 games where A&M throughout this season has played well in all 3 phases or 2 out of the 3 phases. You can't. Texas A&M has a full-throated football problem right now. I don't know if it's the preparation. Offensively, I can tell you what's wrong. They don't have a vertical threat. People are walking everybody down. They're making A&M prove it to them deep. A&M can't do that, so that's why it looks so hard. That's why it looks like everybody's covered, even on the intermediate and the short routes, because they're basically walking everybody down because they know you can't beat them deep. And then the run game, unless A-Chain just makes an unbelievable run, who he can absolutely fly, but unless he makes an unbelievable run like he did a couple times in their wins and puts up some big yardage, every run looks like 2 or 3 yards, or there's somebody that's always there. Well, there is. It's called the safety. Nobody's afraid of A&M. You don't have enough people to block the safety unless it's a quarterback design run, and they're not going to do that a lot with Max Johnson. So when I look at A&M, it is the offense, yes. I think Jimbo needs to bring in an OC. I mean, I don't know, bring in John Tapper from Bar Rescue to start screaming at everybody about how they're not working hard. I don't know. Whatever works. They need a fresh look on offense, but it is a full-throated 3-phase complementary football problem at A&M, and that's one of the worst problems you can have.
Yeah, it's a disaster. Speaking of problems, man, Auburn, my goodness, Brian Harsin, what was that trick play that he tried to pull off? LSU gets the dub.
Yeah, no, the trick play was when he tricked everybody who was good enough to coach at Auburn.
That's a great point. I know I saw this earlier on Twitter, and I think it was like the Washington Times or somebody put it out there. And it's just, I'm sure it's just Monday fodder. Everybody, last week, everybody in Oxford was worried, oh, my God, Lane Kiffin, he's going to go down to Auburn. I heard like they might actually be looking at Deion Sanders. Is that crazy or is that a good idea?
Yeah. I would be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if they gave him a look, but I don't think Deion is going to leave Jackson State for anything other than FSU.
Me too.
It looks like Mike Norvell, even though they lost to Wake this past week, pretty much solidified himself with the start they've had, unless they just absolutely fall off a cliff. When they do let Harsin go, which, look, they need to get an AD as well. There's not a lot of coaches or really any outside of Hugh Freeze that I think would take the job that could actually turn the place around without an AD, because if the AD hires you, he's linked to you as well. The better you do, the better he does, and the better it goes, and the better that contract looks, the worse you do, the more excuses he has to make until he has to fire you. So Auburn's got to take care of the AD problem before they get a head coach, but you need to go ahead and take care of the Brian Harsin problem. Here's the deal. Look, you're going to get bought out for probably at least $12 million. I know it's a $15 million buyout. Typically gets negotiated. Just shake hands. Look, it didn't work out. We hit it off the first time we talked, but turns out you're not who I thought you were, and I guess I'm not who you thought I was. So let's just part ways now, shake hands, and get on with our lives.
Who is Ole Miss? They barely survived against Kentucky, and I'm down there. I watch every single deadgum game. I don't right now. You think of Lane Kiffin. He's always got an identity in the fact that he's going to put his playmakers in a position to make plays. They survived at Kentucky because Kentucky shot themselves in the foot. They had a good first offensive half. The rest of that, their offense looked straight booty.
Well, Ole Miss let them back in the game on special teams. Ole Miss goes up 14-0, and they've struggled to cover kicks all year, but especially against Kentucky. Kentucky should have housed too. but you go up 14-0, then Kentucky returns one all the way to, I think, on your side of the ball, maybe even in the red zone. I can't remember which one of the two was in the red zone, and then they score and you give them hope. Look, Kentucky, like I came on here last week and said, was a little bit fool's goldish to me because they're not very explosive on offense, and they have to kind of wait you out. They cannot make mistakes and win games. They're not good enough to be able to do that. LSU is somewhat similar. They have to be able to wait you out and take advantage of your mistakes. Like which game? Florida. Just like Florida. They waited them out. They struggled a little bit on special teams early, but they waited them out and let Florida make the mistakes. It wasn't like the offense has been balling all year. Hell, they had to have a kickoff return and a pick six to pull away from Miami, Ohio. But I will say, they're good up front. Chris Rodriguez is a good back. They can control the clock, and they're never really out of it because Levis can do crazy things with his legs at times. But they're not good enough, and they're too methodical to be able to win games while making mistakes or win shootouts or things like that. Think about it. Kentucky missed 2 extra points and gave up a safety. All right? I'm not going to count the missed field goal. I'm talking about very, very controllable things, very makeable kicks. That's 4 points. You lost by 3. So Ole Miss really waited out Kentucky. They beat them at their own game, but it does have to be somewhat refreshing if I'm an Ole Miss fan to see the team win a game on defense. Because in order to be able to win big things and get big-time opportunities and be undefeated to certain points, you have to be somewhat balanced as a team. Or at least when one phase, whether it be offense or defense, isn't doing very well, the other phase really steps up. And you saw Ole Miss's defense really step up, especially when it mattered. They made the big play at the end. Do I think Ole Miss is a serious, legitimate contender to win the West? I do not. Do I think they'll beat Bama when they get him at home? I do not. I think Ole Miss is basically Spider-Man GIF with Kentucky, and if Jackson Dart doesn't start seeing linebackers in pass coverage, he's going to make a big-time mistake at an inopportune time.
I'll tell you one thing. I know there's a lot of Team Luke Altmyers out there, especially down in Oxford, and boy, some of those calls are getting louder and louder. Now, the biggest shock to me is Kansas State. Adrian Martinez was running all over the place against Texas Tech. 171 yards, 3 touchdowns. They're now 4-1. Kansas is 5-0. Beat Iowa State this year. Bigger shocker, Kansas or K-State?
Oh, it's got to be Kansas. I mean, look, it's like I said, Kansas has already won this season. I mean, they could lose every game, and it already has been a great season. I mean, they're ranked. What else do you want? I said today, Lance Leopold, that the governor ought to call him. He shouldn't have to pay taxes anymore. You got to do something. Like in the state of Kansas, he shouldn't have to pay any taxes. He should get lifetime at his favorite restaurant. A ticket to a key to the state or the city of Lawrence, whatever you want to do. Because I mean, this dude is just magic. I mean, Kansas. Speaking about winning games in multiple ways, they're winning shootouts and then they're winning slugfests against Iowa State 14-11. Now, I will say the back half of that schedule for Kansas, we're going to really, really find out. But at least up to this point, 2 things. 1, they've done a really good job of playing within themselves and their identity. And number 2, they are a cash machine when it comes to going against the spread. I've taken Kansas 3 times this week, including last week. They have hit every single time. That and whatever under in the game Iowa's playing is basically free money.
Oh, I love free money. And by the way, I got to talk to you because you know that you have not missed a pick on Monday, by the way.
No, man, I don't plan on missing one, man.
Man,
I'm
telling you, I am loving this. But the last thing I got to ask you, Oklahoma, everybody's usually going to be looking forward to Texas, Oklahoma this Saturday, 11 a.m. on ABC, the Red River rivalry, all the fairs out there. Oklahoma's right now lost 2 in a row to Kansas State. They just got beat up by TCU 55-24. I mean, what's going on with OU?
Well, it's the same problem you see at Arkansas when they're so beat up, the lack of defensive speed. I mean, go look at all the big plays Oklahoma's given up. I mean, and that's why everybody that's piling on Brent Venables, he's got to get his guys in there. It's year 1. But they've got to get some team speed on defense. They made Max Duggan look like Usain Bolt from TCU. I mean, look, Max can run, but he can't run like that. I mean, he's out running safeties and linebackers. You're having guys catch, slants and hit the home run. Oklahoma just defensively isn't very fast. And once you get past that first level, they don't have safeties that can run you down. It's like watching Arkansas and Alabama. Once Jahmyr Gibbs got past the first level, there went the guy in the stadium that was catching him, especially in Arkansas secondary. And even worse than that, early in the game before Bryce got hurt, they were just running by the secondary. Why Barry Odom played man at all continues to shock me, because they were legitimately, it was down, set, hut, I'm just going to run by you. And Bryce Young was just waiting and seeing how far he could throw it, because he knew it was like watching, a Olympic track runner run against a fat blind kid.
He is Jake Crane. If you love these takes, if you love sports, if you love having fun, if you like winning bets, make sure you listen to Crane and Company. Also, make sure you join us every single Monday to start things off. He kicks off the weekend. Jake, tell us what you dropped this morning, what you coming down the pipe, and do you got to play for us?
Oh, yeah, man. Well, we had it all covered this morning. You just go to YouTube, type in Crane and Company. We talked NFL, college football, talked some Major League Baseball as we're getting into the playoffs, as well as the Braves overtaking the Mets in the East, as I said it would happen. Never trust the Mets, Giants, or Jets. Here's the play for tonight. I'm not coming on here playing games, Johnny Radio. You know I'm going to give you the best one. Give me Deebo Samuel anytime touchdown at plus 130 on DraftKings. There was 2 stretches last year where he didn't score a touchdown in 2 games, and on the 3rd game, he scored at least 1 touchdown in every one. Hasn't scored a touchdown in the last 2 games. Also, they're beat up in the running back room. Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to be the starter, but he's going to need a blow, especially when they get in the red zone. So go ahead and throw some bread on Deebo Samuel anytime touchdown. I'm feeling good about it, JR.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Hey, enjoy the week. We'll do it again soon, and I can't wait for you to go to 5-0. Be blessed out there, Jake.
Thanks, brother.
That is my man, Jake Crane. You know he's got all kinds of things coming down the pipe. Make sure you seriously follow him at Crane Company on the Twitter. Don't forget to follow Jake at Jake Crane _. And again, if you like funny content and if you like serious content, he interviews everybody and their grandmother. Did you know that?
That's right.
It's important to interview the grandmothers.
Why? Exactly?
Got to understand a little stock, where this man comes from.
Oh, you get the lineage.
Yes, man. It's just the way things are. Now, Mr. J, did you have a good weekend?
I had a fine weekend, John. How was your weekend? Sounds like it was pretty good.
I had a fabulous weekend.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I had a fabulous weekend. And Chas even still likes me.
That's good.
I mean, because Sunday I was straight a lunatic. I mean, Saturday I was straight, partying, having a great time. We tore up Oxford.
But panic Sunday night.
Then I was going to say Sunday night, man. My goodness.
Memphis.
That poor girl, when I got back, she had to pick us up, of course, because, I'm a smart guy. Picked me and my friends up. We couldn't speak English.
What language were you speaking?
DMT and mushrooms.
I was thinking like Spanish or maybe German or something.
I can't speak Spanish.
What German?
Watch this. Hold on. I got some Spanish for you.
All right.
Como te amas?
Nailed it.
Yeah. Germany. Ich bin sie Deutsch. Man, I'm a linguist.
I was about to say.
Maybe I should just start. I don't know, man. Anyway, we're about to get into the box for 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Not really, actually, Jay. I'm sorry.
We can do it later, John.
I'm going to let you ask me questions after TD.
Well, I feel like that's what we do every day. It's just I ask you questions the whole show. So, yeah, we'll do it later.
I like that.
Me too.
It makes my life easy. But I will say things aren't easy for the University of Memphis right now. They can't run the ball to save their lives. Seth Hennigan's always got to bail them out. If you're a defensive coordinator and you're playing the University of Memphis, keep everything in front of you. You know what I mean? That's it. Make them methodically move down the field through the air. You're going to get some picks because Seth Hennigan is the only one who comes out and saves them. They can't put 2 halves of a football game together. The defense is very mediocre right now. But that running attack, which we're so used to, Darrell Henderson, Tony Pollard, Kenneth Gainwell, I mean, on and on and on and on. And right now,
could be an O-line problem too.
But
that's part of the running game.
It's a mixture. Yes, there's a lot of problems right now. And the other thing is I don't feel like Seth Hennigan's – he's playing good, but his wide receivers are not – it ain't like they're getting a lot of separation out there. So Memphis has me a little bit nervous. Now, did they get the win 24-3 over Temple? Yes. Great defensive performance. Dude, they didn't score a point in the first half. Like the first half, they didn't score a point.
Temple.
And you know the weird thing
Temple's
is –
one of the worst teams in football.
By the way, though, I got a text. I'm never betting on the Tigers again. Damn it. They're down 3-0.
T-money.
Yes. And then they came back and won.
We're back.
We're back. That's exactly. T-Money hit me back. He's like, dude, I told you Memphis was going to win. And I'm like, look, an hour earlier, you were like, Memphis sucks. I'm never betting on them again, blah, blah, blah.
I've texted Auburn is back like 40 times in the last 3 weeks, only for them to lose all those games.
Yeah, that's kind of painful. Anything that did anything stick out of or did anything stick out to you or stick in your craw from the weekend?
Well, John, you saw that Wisconsin's head coach was fired.
Paul Chryst.
I'll tell you what.
Why does that stick in your craw?
They're looking for a new coach, John. I'll tell you what. This Illinois coach, he might be a perfect fit at Wisconsin. It's Brett Bielema.
I know.
Well,
Trust me.
You get the joke because he already coached at Wisconsin, you see.
Yeah, I know.
It was a joke. You didn't laugh is the reason why I'm concerned.
I didn't know that was a joke, though. I could literally see his big – they like big coaches. Is it because it's cold in Wisconsin?
I don't know. Maybe. You know what? Maybe.
I like that.
Thanks, John. Also, Missouri might be a wagon. I don't know.
A wagon?
Oh, they might be a wagon, John.
What do you mean? They're circling it?
Well, they just might be a great football team, the best in the country, maybe.
Hey, by the way, how's your Heisman Trophy doing? Champion, the guy you picked at the beginning of the year, TVD, who got benched.
I didn't pick him to win a Heisman. Also, you
only said he was going to be the number one quarterback.
Well, he's going to be a first-round pick. But
no,
he's
he's
also
not.
Yeah,
no, he's not.
Why not? Because Miami's not winning games, John? Please.
No, because he does nothing well.
John, also, what in the world? That's absurd. He does nothing well. But that's not the point. John, I don't want to get bogged down in whether or not TVD. But, John, I was about to say, Mario Cristobal came out today in the Miami Herald. He said you don't lose your job because of one game. Nothing was going well for us that game. It's not on him. He's still starting QB, John. How about that?
I know he's still the starting QB, but have you ever so you're a guy who you said was the best quarterback in all of
John,
football.
The O-line is awful. Like, what's he supposed to do? He has less than 2 seconds to throw the ball every single play. Joe Montana wouldn't be successful in that offense in that situation. Now, he did make one bad decision throwing it, but again, he's getting pressured a lot. That O-line's got to be better. I don't know why I'm giving Miami takes. They haven't played in 2 weeks.
I know. I'm just saying. It's just interesting because I like to pick on your favorite team in the world. Do you not remember every single person that came on?
They're not my favorite team in the world, John.
Who's your favorite team in the world?
I just bought stock in them.
Oh, okay. You bought some
and
stock.
So I'm.
And right now it's plummeting.
A little bit, yeah.
It's kind of like that whole Bitcoin thing. Remember?
Over 8.5 wins. Looking
been
tough.
Coming down hard.
Gross.
Well, Terry Davis. We got to talk a little bit of Tiger football on the other side. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything! A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. It's been a particularly rainy season, and that stain on your ceiling isn't getting any smaller, exposing your family to the possibility of mold. Let me come take a look. 867-0303. Our technicians are Owens Corning Platinum Preferred, so don't let someone tell you that it has to be replaced if all you need is a repair to get several more years of life. 867-0303. Have me on your speed dial for when life's little catastrophes come up. 867-0303. Upgrade your roof to a beautiful Owens Corning Duration Architectural Shingle with a 50-year warranty and an unheard of 25-year labor guarantee. I'll measure your roof from outer space and give you a competitive estimate right over the phone. Buy now and pay nothing till 2022 with approved credit. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
You need concrete coatings, materials, and supplies in Memphis fast, and you get this answer? Oh yeah, we got that stuff, I think, but It's in Wisconsin, so you're going to have to wait a few days for delivery. Why wait? Get your concrete coating and supplies now at TSS Supply. Everything that you need for coating concrete at TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road. And you're not dealing with just any supply store. TSS Supply specializes only in concrete coatings, materials, and supplies, all in one place. Most products are delivered same day or within 24 hours. Looking for a particular item, you need large quantities, or just have general questions, call them at 901-729-0565. Or you can email your question to Brad at tsssupply.com. All month in October, TSS Supply is celebrating its grand opening with 10% off your first order. Come by TSS Supply on Wednesday, October 5th for their official grand opening party. Sports 56 will be broadcasting live, plus have free food and prizes. TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road.
Hey, what QC Kinetics is doing for people here is terrific. Nothing short of amazing. I'm talking real lasting relief from joint pain. Hey, it's Greg Gaston. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in exciting new pain treatments with advanced regenerative medicine, non-surgical alternatives. If you're living with joint pain from injury or arthritis, don't let them tell you steroids and pain meds and surgery are your only options. QC Kinetics uses regenerative treatments that can restore and repair damaged tissue. All right, maybe you've been diagnosed with bone-on-bone arthritis and have been told you need a replacement. Call QC Kinetics now for an alternative way to deal with the pain. These amazing protocols work with pain caused by injury as well, like a torn meniscus or rotator